Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela. I'm the crazy poppy lady, and welcome back to this week's Whips, Bits and Chat, or should I say this month's, because hey, I have been away for quite a chunk of time. I will explain more in a few moments after the titles. So hang fire and you'll see what I'm going to bang on about. As I said, sorry, I'm a bit out of puff. I've been running up and down the stairs, getting all the stuff I'm going to show you today, and I keep forgetting things. Yeah, the brain is never in gear normally, but at the moment it's completely out of the loop. It's hiding in a cupboard at the back behind all that miscellaneous yarn that I never want to look at again. But right, let's address where have I been. A simple answer of what, that there's a few, and they sort of piled on top of each other. Number one, the wrist wasn't playing. I was getting irate because I couldn't show you anything new crocheted, and knitting takes forever and ever and some. So yeah, I didn't get much of that done either. I got really irate. And then my husband's computer chair broke, and it was the same style as the one that I had up here, so we nicked it. Because of course he does do a lot of work from home, and he spends a great deal of time sitting on his computer chair in front of his computer working, and he's the one that pays the bills. So yeah, he got me chair, which was perfectly fine, because for me it was too low. It's going to sound really strange because it's got one of those buttons that you push and you can up and lower it, but even on its highest setting it was still too low for me. So it meant that when I put my feet on the floor, my knees were pushed up a bit higher than what I like them to be, because I need to sit at a certain angle when I'm relaxing and a certain angle when I'm sitting here. So I like to have it so that my feet are nearly dangling. I can pretend to be a child under the table, like la 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 la. I'm swinging my feet at the moment because hubby got me a new computer chair. It's not an expensive all singing all dancing, it's just a bog standard office computer chair, but it's higher up off the ground on its top level without me pulling the little tab that I'm not going to touch, because otherwise I'll end up on the floor and with my feet up. No, I'm not doing it, right? But yeah, so he's got me a new one. It is a purple mesh back, but you're not going to be able to see that because like I put a blanket over it. So I'm just like, no, I need rolled up pillows and things all in the right spots to keep me upright and not going all out like normal. And the other reason is that we actually spent 2 weeks in Australia with the outlaws again. I can't escape you Aussies at the moment, can I? Yeah, we got back about a week ago now, or just shy of a week. I can't remember the exact dates. All I was told was get in the car, we're going. And that was at both ends, because I didn't know if I was coming or going, so I didn't even know what day it was. I just had alarms set for when I was meeting a certain individual, which I will tell you about shortly. But when I flew out this time round, I'm still trying to use up my yarn stash, although I have gone through it. I have boxed and bagged quite a lot, and since my last video you'll notice there's some bags missing from this corner here. The only stuff I've got left to get rid of is a almighty box downstairs under the dining table, which fingers crossed I'll be able to shift very soon. because otherwise I've got to move it back upstairs for Christmas Day. And that box there, at the end of the day, if I can't sell either of them, I will still use the yarn. It's just a case of thinking of what to do with them. And it was quite strange because as soon as I put the listing up, within about 35 minutes of me putting my big listing up with like far too much yarn in a box, it's a massive box and it's packed in tight. As soon as I'd done it, I sat down and I was like, well, the photos have gone up, the listing's gone up, everything's brilliant. I thought, you dopey woman, there's a reason why you've got 8 balls of black and 4 balls of green. I've had a pattern in mind for a very long time and something I've wanted to try to make. And I'd actually bought the yarn for that 2.5 years ago, but at the time it was for a mosaic pattern, and at the time I was making a lot of our gorgeous Courtney at Fibre Fox Studios patterns, whereas now I was going to try and make my own. She says, try. I've done one. Okay, we've got the cactus. I've done one, but now I've worked on another pattern and I'm hiding it at the moment, so I can't really show you. But he's in here. Okay, there is a little mosaic sample in here, and 3 other projects in here. Doesn't look like much, does it? But this was all the projects I worked on when I was in Australia. Now, before I flew out, I'd popped up to one of my local charity shops to see if they needed any volunteers, and said that I could probably start in the new year. And they mentioned about needing somebody that knows a little bit about craft to price up their sections, because they don't really know what they're doing. And I looked, I smiled and I grinned. I said, I know you're charging a ridiculous amount for second-hand patterns, but don't worry, I'll happily help you out. If we can get stuff sold and moved, even better. And then we can start putting posts out on our local Facebook groups asking for craft donations for the area. And then I can price them up, stick them on the shelf. And I said, yeah, I'll agree to that. I'll see you in the new year. Well, of course, I've got home. My brain starts ticking over and ticking over and ticking over. And all of the patterns contained in here are going to be patterns that I will be showing them first, in the hopes that they like them, they think they can sell them, and I will then start making more. Being very cagey with it at the moment, cagey with the ideas, cagey with everything, until I actually speak to the head office, which I need to actually go in and speak to their manager and say, look, can you put me in touch with head office? Because I don't want a repeat of what happened with the Royal British Legion and the poppies. Made 5,000. Head office doesn't even know yet. Their social media gurus are twit, who basically turned around and said, you better not be selling them. Otherwise we're coming for money off you. We're going to take you to court. And I was like, dude, my actual post says I hand them over. Do one. I didn't put do one, but the intention was there. But that challenge was the last 5 years. Now this is the challenge that hopefully I will have a lot more fun with, as it consists of, are you ready for this? Earrings, keyrings, clothing, stuffies. So you'll be seeing a lot of the same colours for the next few months, or at least once I get the okay from the charity, because I want to, of course, make sure I get that before I start anything under and mentioning them and mentioning their name. And I need to make sure as well that I can actually get rid of the stuff, because I've got a wardrobe here that's full of previous makes, and it's getting to the point where it's getting too crowded. So when I make stuff, it needs to have a home to go to. But luckily these are all quite small items, so I can see that I'm going to have a lot of fun. Now, I'm also trying to just use the yarn in my craft room and of course use it up. But I have a confession. I went yarn shopping when I was in Australia twice. But not as bad as normal years. Really not as bad. Any of you that don't know, when I've been over before, I hit the mill end bins at Spotlight in Australia. Now, normally these mill end bin bags, it's 400 grams of a mystery yarn. You don't know what it is. There's no labelling on it. You don't know if you got wool, cotton, acrylic, anything unless you know what you're looking at, really. Last time I went over, I managed to get that granny square yarn that I turned into hexagons because, hey, I'm too boring for squares. I can't stand squares. This time round, I went in to have a look. Now, I went in purposely looking for 2 different colours because they were colours for these items coming up. Well, 3 colours I needed. But I was thinking of the stuffy and I needed 2 shades of brown. Yeah, brown. So I've gone from red, black and green to brown. And I went into the store. They had nothing in the bin. So I ended up going and purchasing some other yarn. I don't know if I've still got the yarn label in the bag. Yeah, I have. No, oh no, I've got a ball of it still. Yeah, I picked up the Baby Bella nippers. Okay, now this is really, really cute. I love this colourway in caramel. So I picked that one up and I needed a brown. Up and down the aisles I went looking, because the nipper range didn't have a brown. Not a chocolate, dark chocolate brown. Didn't have dark chocolate brown, and I was like getting really irate. So I've looked in there, up and down every aisle now. It's a nice size one that I went to, so it's not like they didn't have it on the shelf. If they had it in stock, they would have had it on the shelf. Nothing. So my husband comes in to find me, to drag me out the shop, kicking and screaming because I still hadn't found the brown I wanted. And he goes, mill end bins, Ange. I said, I'm not looking, I'm behaving myself. Fibber. Well, he went over and he found a brown. And he's like, bless his little cottons. He goes, I found a brown. Here you go. Now, from a distance, this yarn did look like this, okay? Like the same sort of style, the Chanel style yarn. And I wasn't paying attention, and I got really irate. And so I went, fine, put it in the bag. I'll see if I can work with it. Doesn't quite look the same, says me. No, it'll be fine, says hubby. Why am I taking his advice? He knows nothing about yarn. Well, when I get home, I make up the stuffy, or at least the parts for the stuffy. And I get to working with this stuff, and it's really cool. Don't ask me what it is, but this stuff's stretchy. It's got a major amount of give on it, major amount, but it's a chain spun yarn. So I made up the section, and I've got emergency stuffing at my mother-in-law's, okay? I've got a bag hidden in the back of the bedroom wardrobe that she'll never find, so it doesn't matter. I've got this massive bag, so I was about to put it all together, the top and the bottom and the sides and all the rest, put the stuffy together, right? And I put loads of stuffing on, and they called me for dinner. So I sat the stuffy on the table with the top on the bottom section and just left it there and thought, oh, I'll do that when I get finished eating. When I come back, the top was so heavy that the bottom had gone and got squidged. So yeah, that yarn could not handle the weight of the other yarn. So yeah, I put those bits in a bag and thought, well, I'll work on something else. And luckily I'd taken over 100 grams in the browns, and that's what I was working with when I was over there. And I'd made a couple of the other bits and pieces that I will show you in a couple of weeks' time, once the patterns are all written and all the photos and all of that, and all, you know, the thing, having to do the video recording and all of that. But once that's all done, I can show them to you then. As I'm there and I'm working on those and I'm getting really bored, I've worked out how many I can get out of 100 grams because I've done 25 gram and 25 gram, just done the math that way. So I know how many I can get. I don't need to make any more at the moment. And I'm sitting rocking and my husband's like, what's going on? I said, I need to go to Spotlight. He's like, really? Again? I said, look, I was well behaved. I said, I only bought what I needed. But this time I need green. And he was like, so we're going to Spotlight to get your green. I said, look, it's a 5-minute car journey. I said, I'll walk it, but it'll take me 3 hours. And the family's laughing at me and they're like, I'll just take her to Spotlight. So off to Spotlight we go, and I walk in, walk straight to where I need, grab the green I need, which isn't this type, it isn't a Chanel type, it's just a DK, bog standard. But I've noticed that if I'm trying to match it with one of the yarns I've got here in the UK, which happens to be the Everyday DK, that is quite a thick DK weight yarn. And I've noticed that if I put that up against an 8 ply, the 8 ply gets lost. So I have to go up to a 10 ply. So I'm mixing Aussie 10 with a UK DK. But they're the same size yarn in the end, for me anyway. If I was mixing a Stylecraft DK, I would mix that with the 8 ply from Oz. Sort of just to give you an idea there of how sometimes the yarns don't weigh up the same, or they weigh up the same but they're not the same thickness. It really grates my gears. And so when I got home, I had to match up this yarn to a brown, which I managed to do, and I put the order in, but which there'll be a video that comes out shortly about that anyway. But I managed to match up the yarn, and to be honest, if I didn't know better, I would say that they could be, well, they are very, very similar. Maybe the this Chanel here is a bit thicker than this one, but only by a minute amount. And the untrained fingers wouldn't notice. It's just me, I'm so tight, I like to find these differences, don't I? But now I've got to try and colour match this one, and the choice that I made does not work. It is not a colour match. Not in a long shot. But anyway, I am bouncing all over the place today, aren't I? Right, so I went into a Spotlight for the second trip, and they'd had a mill end bin refresh. They put more in. It wasn't just black and orange or black, red and orange. I'm like, no, keep away from the black, and you don't need it, and you certainly don't want any red. So I broke my yarn band, but it's holiday yarn. I've always said I will only break it for holiday yarn. Well, I managed to pick up 2 bags of mill ends. I could have picked up a lot more, and I had room in my suitcase for a lot more. On the way back, it was my suitcase. I could have carried 25, and my suitcase was 11. And I could have carried a lot more yarn, and I purposely only packed 5 days worth of clothes and boots. That was it. 1 pair of boots, 5 days worth of clothes. No thick jumpers, none of that. Just borrow it off the mother-in-law, or should I say take back my cat jumper for the visit while I'm there. That's what I would do. But I didn't actually stock up with any more mill end than the 2 bags that I got, which are identical, so I can make a bigger project. And now I've just got to try and identify the yarn. Now it's not, I've not taken it out of the bag as yet. I think I might have an idea what yarn it is, but I'd have to pull my shelves out. Okay, so here it is. It's blues, greens and whites. There we go. Hopefully that's showing up quite nicely. Oh, I slightly opened this one. Yeah, because I also bought myself a wine shot glass while I was... How on earth did I get that shot glass in there? Where's the hole? Oh. I actually bought myself a shot glass because I collect shot glasses for when I'm away on holiday, so it reminds me of things. I've got loads from Melbourne. We went to Sydney. So I had a quick nose around Sydney Harbour and all of that. Wow, this is chunky. There we go. And I meant just that the cake's chunky. To me, I'm thinking it's a mandala ombre. Now, I did pause for a few seconds so I could stand up and grab the one mandala, like the mandala that I bought last time I was over. I don't think it's exactly the same one. Well, it's not the same colour. But I'm just checking on thickness here. No, it's thicker. But it does feel very much like this mandala, but it's a thicker. So what is this mandala meant to be? That's meant to be a 4, which to me looks more like a DK. So this would be a 10 ply. Okay, 10 to 12 ply, mottled blues, greens and whites in this cake. Any ideas? Because it'd be nice to try and work out what it is, so that I can wash it. I can put wash instructions on the item that I'm going to finish with it. But I've got 2 bags or was it 800 grams of this yarn. So there we go. That is all I bought. Yarn wise. But I did buy other bits and pieces. But what was it? Yeah, my shot glass I got from Sydney because we went to Sydney. Now, my husband decided he wanted to go to Wallaby Way and find the dentist. He's now realised that Nemo was lied to. I hope you covered any kids' ear rolls then, because we went searching for Wallaby Way. There's no such place as frickin' Wallaby Way. Evil, evil peoples. I had a very grumpy hubby on the way home because of it. But the trip itself was absolutely lovely. I will pop some photos up if we've got any, and any video. It depends on if my husband recorded, because I didn't take my phone or any recording equipment because it was family holiday time. I'm a nightmare. If I know I'm going to do stuff and it would be for the channel, then I would have taken my camera equipment over. But it wasn't. It was family time, so you've only got what my husband's taken. I also got to meet up with our beautiful Mary from Wow Crochet. Link to her channel will be in the description box down below. And she introduced me to, I think it was Thai food. She'll probably correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below, so have a look. We went out for a meal, and it's the first time I've ever been to that type of restaurant with that type of cuisine. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I really don't know what to order here. Help! Well, I managed to, I ordered a gorgeous dish. I can't tell you what it's called. There would have been no way I could pronounce it. Come on, I have enough problems with English and it's my native language. But it was a gorgeous, beef noodle mix. Absolutely stunning. So that was lovely. It had a beautiful, maybe 4 hours, no, about 3 hours worth of chatting with me and Mary, and the 2 hubbies thankfully got on, because then they could talk about computer stuff and other stuff that they're into while me and Mary chatted yarn. So yeah, yes, and Mary, let's start that again. Yes, I left Mary a little keyring gift, which is a part of the set of items that will be coming up for the charity that I was talking about earlier, if it all works out. If it doesn't, the items will still come out. I'm still going to release them because I put work into it, you know. So keep an eye out on Mary's channel. You never know, she might get confused like she's done previously and show you a sneak peek of it. That's not a challenge there, Mary. But if you do, you do. I'm not worried now. Now, earlier on in the week, I did actually put a post up on the community tab asking you guys to basically pick from 4 options. I would have put a lot more in, but I was only able to put 4. And for the life of me, I can't think what it was. Oh, yeah, that was it. Ideas for the channel for next year. There was a choice between charity items. Now, you know, I'm on it anyway, so I'm not going to spoil it too much for you. There's charity items. Another option was origami. Then there was mosaic. And what was the last one? Oh, yes, try different crafts. So as it stands at the moment, it is, what are we on? Just coming up to 4 p.m. on the 4th. All the 4s. Okay, and so far you guys have put nothing down for the charity fundraising idea. Maybe you guys think I've done enough charity fundraising. Probably, but you know me. I'm a stickler for it. There is, I don't know how many votes. What was it? It's set on 6 votes. So now I've got to work this out. More Amigurumi has 17% of the votes, which I believe is 1 vote. Yeah, that works out. Then Mosaic Crochet has 2 votes, and a Poppy Trying Different Crafts has 3 votes. So, oh dear, I might end up trying something new. That's scary, gang. Honestly, that's scary. Right, I'm counting knitting as something new. And any other craft I've done before crochet is new, because I've done it for such a long time. It's got to be new, isn't it? Hasn't it? Help a girl out here. If you've got any ideas on any crafts you would like to see me attempt, I'm not going to say master, I'm just going to say attempt, pop them in the description box of this video, or to make it easier for me and my brain deadness, if you could jump onto the community tab and pop it in the comment underneath the poll, that would be absolutely brilliant. And of course, you can always tell me under the poll which one you voted for. You never know, I might call you out for being evil. Evil, I tell you, evil. Okay, so hubby has started back-to-back meetings. I've got a matter of seconds to finish recording this while somebody else is talking downstairs to him in his noise-cancelling earphones. So I'm going to head off, and hopefully I'll have some extra things that are coming up for you this following week, or even tomorrow. Never know with me, do we? Never know. So fingers crossed, I'll have some more content out for you really soon. Have an absolutely lovely day, evening, night, and remember, stay chilled, stay happy, and keep crafting. Goodbye, everybody.